Let's go. Happy Monday. I am so pumped to be here. I want to first just say, if you're able, turn your camera on this morning because there's just something different. This was going to hit different if you can really be engaged in this conversation this morning. It's just going to land a little different this morning. Okay. So if possible, turn that camera on, and it's okay if you're running around. It's okay if you're doing the things, but it's going to make a difference this morning. So I'm so pumped that you're here. We have some new people on this morning. My name is Alita. I'm a Diamond Ambassador with Plexus. All that means is I really love Plexus and I was disciplined. I really love Plexus and I was disciplined. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about football. If you're a football fan, would you drop a one in the comments? Because I'm about to come at you with some Nick Saban. Now, all you Tennessee fans, don't start booing me and being like, "Oh my gosh, you're listening to Alabama." But I'm telling you, I watched his documentary. Rod and I watched it last night. I text Lisa Youngs. I was like, "You've got to watch this. It's so good." He has some of the best. Someone put "Go Eagles." He is literally the best college football coach out there. I think everyone can agree that Nick Saban is pretty fantastic. He's won 7 national championships. He has tons and tons and tons of accreditation to his name. So I was listening to this documentary just about his life. Okay. So it's nothing, it wasn't like you know, a talk where I was just taking notes. Like I didn't plan on sitting there taking notes. Okay. And if you know me, you know that sports movies typically move me because we love a story of an underdog. I love the Rocky movie series, right? Like I'm obsessed with it. I think that it's just absolutely the whole I love it, Dina. I was wondering if you're gonna hop on this morning. I knew you would love this so much. But I love the story of an underdog who everybody is saying, you can't do that. You're too normal. You're too average. You don't have what it takes. You don't have the training. You don't have the skills. You don't have what it takes to take you to the next level. And then that person, through consistency, through discipline, and through the most important desire, right? Hits the mark, becomes the champion. And you can't help but feel something, right? You can't help but get a little emotional. So I'm watching this man, this regular, normal man, talk about his football career, and I literally start getting emotional. I turn to my husband, like, I'm getting emotional. Why? And he's like, I'm getting emotional too. And so I'm like, I'm going to start taking notes on what he's saying because it is so it impacted me a lot. And so the first thing I was listening to this morning, I always have something going, something personal growth related, something to motivate me, something to keep me going, because that's how I started. That's how I got here, right? So I'm not going to quit doing what got me here. I'm not going to stop doing it. So I was listening to something, and one of the things that he said is he said, the number one thing I look for in my players is gratitude. Number one. He said that Derrick Henry, who ended up being a running back for the Titans, okay, went to the NFL, right? Huge, right? Has a huge career. He said every time he'd walk by him, every day at practice, he'd walk by and Derrick Henry would look up at him and say, "Glad to be here. Coach, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here working my ass off in practice. I'm glad to be here. I'm thankful for the air in my lungs, the talent that I have, and all of those things." And so he talks a lot about the process. And so many times we get caught up in the destination and where we're going. We want to win a championship. We want to be diamond. We want to be emerald. And we get really pumped up and we get really motivated and we want to make a change in our life, right? So no matter what it is in your life that you're like, you kind of set your sights on it, you're like, oh, man, that'd be awesome if this happened. We set these big goals, but we don't create the systems and the process to achieve it. The systems and the process to achieve it. And so the process in our business and in football is really about the people. It's really about the people. When you start fixating on just getting to a certain number and you're not connecting with people and you're not talking to people, you're not in the right process. You're not in the right process. One thing he gets on there and he says, all this media, he goes, is just poison. It's poison to my team to hear that they're unstoppable and they're killing it and they're winning, or they're terrible, they make mistakes. He's like, either way, it's poison, because you got to learn to trust the process and you've got to be in the process, because you're not there for the recognition. Because what's going to happen? You're going to win a cruise, you're going to win $100, and then you're going to lose all incentive to keep going. I'm talking to somebody, right? Recognition isn't everything. We've got to be able to push past that and really make that decision of, what is my process? What is my mission? What is my goal? And I want you to think about that today. What is your mission? What is your goal for your organization, for your team? If you're a silver ambassador on here, if you're brand new on here, that's when I came up with my mission. My mission was that no mom pay for her products. That was my first mission, that no mom pay for her products. What about the guys? Create your own mission, right? My mission grew. My mission became and evolved, but that's where I started. Lisa and I would say the same thing over and over and over and over again. We'd sign you up, be like, and you know what? I'm so excited for you. And our mission is that no mom pays for her products. If you want to move your business forward, you've got to develop silvers. Where's your system? Where's your consistency? Or are you just recruiting, and see you later, see you later, see you later? And if you're not developing silvers, then that's where you need to learn to work. That is your practice, right? That's where you need to be practicing, not avoiding, not saying it's not working, I can't get this to happen. You need to learn some skill sets that help you do that. Now we're going to get into some good stuff, okay? It's not about what you want. It's about what you are willing to do to get it. It's not about what you want. It's, what are you willing to do to get it? Are you willing to wake up an hour early? Drop a 1 in the comments if you are. Are you willing to run the steps in Philly every day like Rocky? Are you willing? Are you willing to sacrifice some time to make it to where you want to go? Are you willing to get into the gym every day to have the body that you want? Are you willing to do the number of events a week it takes to be a diamond? If you're willing to do the number of events it takes, drop a 2 in the comments. It's not about what we want. It's about what we are willing to do to get it. I mean, come on, somebody. I mean, are you feeling this? Are you picking it up? It's not about what you want. It's about what you're willing to do to get it. Everybody says, I want to be where you are, Alita. I want to earn $30,000 to $40,000 a month. I want to retire my husband. I want to be able to say yes to my kids more than I say no. Everybody wants to be where I am. Very few people want to do what I did to get here. Now, what did I do to get here? I was kind. I was full of integrity, but I was a badass. I worked my business every single day. I fell in love with this industry. I fell in love with these products. It's not about what you want. It's about what you're willing to do to get there. And that speaks volumes. That speaks way more than what we say, right? We say we want change. We say we want more. I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I'm exhausted from telling my kids no. Or I'm tired of feeling guilty. I'm tired of feeling like it's causing problems. Okay. I saw this reel and I thought it was hilarious. And now I'm like, that's actually very accurate. He said, you want to have a happy marriage? Make money. Make money. More couples argue and divorce over finances than any other thing. It is an important part of our culture. It is an important part of our life. And yet we still want to stay in the same old victim place of staying on the same cycle because we're unwilling. Come on, somebody. We're unwilling to take that risk. We're unwilling to take that chance. No big deal ever came from sitting safely in their house doing the same thing they always did. Nobody. No winner, no champion, no top of the top. Michael Jordan wasn't sitting there hoping for the best. Kobe Bryant wasn't sitting there just being like, well, I'll work out just like everybody else. No, he worked out one more time a day than everybody else. We all want to be the best. We all want to make change, but we're unwilling to make the change. Can I tell you something so crazy? I changed the complete trajectory of my entire life in a year's time. In 12 months, I changed everything for my family. My income went up so high, I could actually pay for private school for my kids to attend when their dad died. 12 months of dedicated focus, of deciding that I deserved it. I have lipstick on right now that I bought called Worthy. Everything I did was focused through I can and how will I. It was never focused on what if I don't? What happens if I can't? Where are these people going to come? I never focused on that. And anybody who's been with me any amount of time, you can commit and know that that was true, right? I only focused on where I was going and the process it took me to get there. So when people are saying to me, oh, I'm scared to do this, or I don't know how I'm going to do it, or I don't know. I'm like, yeah, either did I, but you're focused on the wrong spot. If you're only focused on if I'm only focused on expanding and growing my business, I want you to ask yourself a question right now. How can I double my team in the next 60 days? How can I double my team in the next 60 days? Focus on that. Focus on that. How can I double my team in the next 60 days? How can I double my team in the next 60 days? Regardless of where your team is at, how do you double it in 60 days? The first thought that comes up usually is, oh my gosh, that's a big number, right? We got some senior Ruby and Emeralds on here. They're like, dang, that's a really big amount. Elon Musk on a private jet with all of the most brilliant engineers on the planet. They were telling him his idea would take 6 months to complete. He said, look, true story, turn this plane around. They flew back to the office and 24 hours later completed what they told him would take 6 months. They completed it in 24 hours. Maybe it's not that you're not dreaming big enough. You're not believing big enough that you can do something in a shorter amount of time. I completely changed the trajectory of my kids' lives in 12 months. I was a single mom for 3. There was no other money coming in. I didn't have a sugar daddy helping me out. It's not about what you want. It's about what you're willing to do to get it. So ask yourself, what am I not doing that I could be? How can I double my team in 60 days? Does my family need it? Does your family need it? You're fully capable. You are fully capable. And when he said this, I rewound and typed, rewound and typed, rewound and typed, because I just was like, phew. And I just wanted to slap my own self. Okay. Because in that 12-month period where I was really aggressively building and I didn't care. I didn't care. I had zero fear. Zero fear. I don't care what anyone thought of me. I don't care who was booing me. I still have people that are like, you left me in that time. I'm like, sorry, zero regrets. Zero regrets. Can I tell you that again? Louder for those in the back. Zero regret. I don't feel bad. Not even an inch. He says, do you want to be coached or left alone? If you're an average player, you want to be left alone. You just want to slide by. You just want to do the bare minimum and say, I'm working over here, and it just isn't working. If you're a good player, you want to be coached, right? Come on, turn your cameras on and hear this. If you're a good player, you want to be coached. Yeah, you're like, I'll be coached. I'll take it. But then comes I already tried that. I actually already did that. Can you imagine looking Nick Saban in the face, Dina, and saying, I already tried that? Hello. Can you imagine looking Michael Jordan in the face and saying, I actually already tried that. So, or I am doing that. You're not coachable if you're not just saying, yep, and doing it in the moment. Can you imagine looking at Michael Jordan in the eye? He gives you this great opportunity. He's coaching you and he's like, yeah, okay, like I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to do that, Michael. No probs, Mikey. And then I go and I don't do it. And then I show up the next week for coaching. He's like, okay, like, let's see, like, how did you progress? Oh, I got scared. I didn't want to dribble both hands. Like, I just got terrified. Get out of my gym. It's not what you say you want. It's what you're willing to do to get it. If you're a great player, you want your coach to tell you the truth every day, at every chance, at every moment. It's like, hey, tell me what I need to do different. And when Cheryl listens to this recording, she's going to laugh at me. And I always say this, but I talk a lot about energy. If your energy is in the wrong place, you ain't going nowhere. You've got to think and desire to be a diamond. You've got to think and desire for more in your life, my friends. You've got to want it more than you care about your pride, more than you care about what everyone else is going to think of you. You've got to want it at a place that's more than mediocre, that's more than average. And this is what he said. And this really cried to me. I was like, I love this so much. He said, I always tell my players, you want to work so hard to become valuable. And he said, I literally asked them, if I didn't show up here today, would anyone miss my ass? Big question. Now we're talking about leaving a legacy. If I wasn't showing up here, would anyone miss my ass? That's a really good question to ask ourselves. And if the answer is no, we got some work we got to do, right? We got to do some work. We got to figure some stuff out. We got to show up in a different way. It's a challenge. This is not a make you feel good talk. This is I'm challenging our very inner thoughts about our own selves and what we think we're capable of. It's going to take me 12 years to go diamond. Well, if you think that way, then that's what's going to happen. So I ask you, what kind of player are you? Are you average? Are you good? Are you great? And then I ask you, what kind of player do you want to be? And can you get there? Asking myself, how can I get there? He talked about He was running around the field just yelling at his players. And I'm like, I love this so much. Like, I want to be on your team. I don't play football, obviously, but I want to be on your team because I want to be around that greatness. And this is for all the people over there, my over perfectionists, my overthinkers, my people who think, oh no, I've got to get it right every single time. He says, you practice until you can't get it wrong. You get live in your stories and you talk about the products and the business until you can't get it wrong. You practice doing events until you can't get it wrong. Do you think Nick Saban would be doing Sip and Seas over and over and over again for the same person? He'd be like, get out there, practice it until you can't get it wrong. It's a little tough love this morning, and I'm freaking loving it. It's firing me up. If you're fired up, drop a fire in the comments because what this is it's a call to higher expectation for yourself. It's a call to higher expectation for yourself. Whatever in life it is that you want. Stop sitting back and hoping and praying and playing small and not taking the action it's required to get you there. If you want more than a mediocre life, you're going to have to do more than mediocre people do. You're going to have to follow up. You're going to want to post. You're going to have to be coachable. The more coachable you are, the faster you'll go. Everybody claps for the diamonds on the top. Everybody claps for the emeralds and the sapphires, and everybody claps when you're going silver. Everybody claps, right? They're cheering you on, but nobody wants to do what you did to get there. Stop expecting everybody to drop everything. And he talked a lot about this on his speech I listened to this morning. He said, everybody, like, it's all about how I feel. I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like I'm in a place to go to this thing. And I have both hands raised. I don't feel like doing this right now. But it's the people that are dedicated to the process. They're dedicated to the system. They're dedicated to doing it. They're dedicated to changing their life. Plexus isn't the dream. Y'all hear me on this. Plexus isn't the dream. It's also you can be a diamond and run around and be like, I'm a Plexus diamond. Nobody cares. I got news for you. Nobody cares. It's like if somebody ran up to you like, I won a Super Bowl in 1983. You'd be like, I don't care. I don't care. That doesn't even mean anything to me. I don't even know who you are, right? Don't focus on that. It's how does it change your life? How does it change your life? Does it mean you're not relying on other people to support you anymore? Does it mean that you have found independence? Does it mean that you're allowed to give your kids a different future? Does it mean you get to pay your house off? Does it mean you get to pay off your consumer debt after 4 years of a real tough economy? Does it mean that you get to experience life in a totally different way? What does it mean for you? Get the right people on your bus. Get the right people on your team. Look for the people who are dedicated to excellence, who are dedicated to moving forward, because I can tell you the people who are dedicated to being mediocre will drag your bus down. They will slow your bus up. They will make you stop more than you're going. Look for the people that want it. Look for the people who are looking for you. Look for the people who are dedicated to changing their lives with you. What is your daily process? And I am not here to tell you what your daily process should be, because my daily process is not going to be your daily process. But what is your process that works for you? What is that process that no matter what, I'm committed to this system? I'm committed to doing this. I'm committed to showing up to these calls. I'm going to do 2 chat events a week and an in-person event a week. And what if you didn't have anything to compare it to? What if Tasha Scott just joined and just went and never had any training, didn't know anything, and just did what she felt was right to do? I bet you we'd do so much more. I had no idea what the expectations were. We were the very first team. I was a gold ambassador. Lisa was a silver. We were the very first team in all of Plexus to do a Facebook Live event. Okay? We had no agenda. We had because we didn't know any better. We didn't know that's not what you do. You do this. We just didn't know. We didn't know that you didn't do sip and season laundromats. We just went and did them. We had more passion than we had sense. And that's the truth. We had more passion than we had speaking skills. I did not speak like this then. Okay. We had more passion than we had fear. We had more passion than we did expectation. We had massive expectation because we didn't know any better. What would this do for your family? And hang on to that and have the self-discipline, because nobody can have the self-discipline for you. You have to put it in place. You have to put the system in place where it's hold me accountable to this, Alita. I'm saying I'm going to do this. I have hired accountability. I have found accountability. I have learned to who I can lean on, who will actually hold me accountable. I don't want a yes ma'am friend. I don't want someone who's like, oh yeah, you didn't show up for that. No problem. I want someone who's going to be like, why didn't you come? Stop making excuses. I want someone who's going to hold my feet to the fire. And you should want the same thing, because guess what? You don't get better. You don't get better. The process is really about the people. Practice until you can't get it wrong. Small steps rather than distant goals, right? Go and do. I'm going to develop 5 silvers. I'm going to work on every single person and I'm going to get them silver. The goal will come when you're helping other people. The process is the people, right? Practice until you can't get it wrong. Recognition is not everything. If you're only playing in the game for recognition, it's going to get you. It's not about what you want. It's about what you're willing to do to get it. And here we're going to end with this. Do you want to be coached or left alone? If you're an average player, you want to be left alone. You want to slide on under the radar. If you're a good player, you want to be coached, but you have excuses. If you're a great player, you want your coach to tell you the truth every day and you apply it. Be the best you that you can be. Show up for yourself. Take some notes. If you've got feelings after this call, good. Write it down. Write it down. Where do I feel in my head and my heart that I could improve? Drop the fear. Stop being afraid of what happens if you succeed. Stop being afraid of what happens if you don't succeed. You know what's funny? When I went Emerald, I didn't have one sticky note on my fridge. I had it everywhere I looked. You know what that did for me? I thought about this last night. I thought that exposed me. That meant my kids were reading it. That meant my friends coming over were reading it. That meant that every time I turned around, oh, dang, I'm supposed to go Emerald this month. And so when I would be tempted to just let the day go by, maybe do a reach out, maybe all of a sudden I was faced with it. I was faced with it on a daily basis. I was faced with my deeper desire for change was so in my face. I couldn't not be accountable to it. I exposed myself. I exposed myself to vulnerability. I exposed myself to people making fun of me. I exposed myself to failing. I exposed myself to rejection when I was already extremely wounded. So what made me have the ability to do that? Do you guys think that I signed up a fairy and she just went and just signed up all these people? Because that didn't happen. I was willing to risk it. I was willing to dare greatly in spite of the rejection that did come. But we have this wall of fear that stands here all the time that tells us, but what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't happen? But what if it does? I would not be here had I not exposed myself that way. So when you look at diamonds or you look at people in this industry that you really look up to, don't put them in a category that says they're better than you. Don't put them in a category that says they're more equipped than you. Don't put them in a category that says that they were lucky. Put them in a category in your mind that said they faced rejection. They hiked Mount Everest through storms. They were committed. They were disciplined. They went through boot camp. And so you see the mountaintop experience that I ain't gonna lie, I love living. I love living on the mountaintop experience. I've been here for a hot minute and it's awesome. And it was worth everything beyond 10 times, 20 times. So, what are you willing to do to get there? It doesn't matter what you want, it doesn't matter how bad you want it. It's what are you willing to do to get there? So, if your coach / upline is saying you got to post, you got to let people know where you're going, and that scares you, you need to start thinking about that. If your coach is telling you you've got to plug people into the culture and you're scared to do that, you want to keep people isolated over here in your own little thing. I've been around the block. Be coachable. I'm telling you. It's because we've seen it. We've done it. We've gone there. Be coachable. Okay, let's go. Go football, go sports, go Nick Saban, and do yourself a favor. Turn on some Nick Saban greats. If you need to get your butt kicked, he's not going to sugarcoat it. He's not going to make you feel like the pretty little girl down the road. He's going to be like, come on, Marine style Michael, let's go. Let's stop making excuses, right? And let's get to it. Let's change our lives. If you knew that 1 year of dedicated focus could absolutely change the rest of your life, you could pay for your kids' college, you could pay off your house, what is it worth to you? What is it worth to you? And that's where you need to be. Let's go, team.